Hi Dad, it's Monday, September 22nd. It's the autumnal equinox, so the first day of fall. And it's really still here, so I thought this would be a good audio day for a video. So let's go take a look around. So everybody that lives in Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, are all aware that this was a brutal year for drought. So it's mid-September, and I don't think we had any rain to speak of all through June, July, August, and up until now in September. So it's been kind of rough. I have a feeling this video will be more about things that didn't work than did work. One exception is the grapes. I did get quite a few grapes off of these. Colin was down with Hazel quite a few days while they stayed here, munching on the grapes. There was a couple left after I took down the covering, but it looks like the birds have come in and cleared those out. This is my strawberry bed. Suffered because of the drought. It wasn't on the regular watering system, so I did have a soaker hose in there that I just took out yesterday. So they didn't do great. Got a couple off them, but they suffered in the heat. They are coming back a little bit now. So they're ever-bearing strawberries, so they will bear all summer long, but they slow down in the heat. There's another one way at the very end there that I can see coming up. And right about there, looks like some are ready to come out there too. So they're enjoying that the weather is cooler. And these are my thornless blackberries. No thorns, thank goodness, because blackberry thorns are vicious. I did get just a few berries off them at the end of the year here. I did pull a ripe one off a couple days ago. It was huge and it was wonderful. So I'm hoping that those guys will keep going. The other day I put down a bunch of compost and covered it with mulch. And I watered it really heavily before I put the mulch down, so hopefully it will help it. This black currant bush actually produced quite a bit of currants. It was earlier in the year. So maybe next year I'll take a new shoot and try to propagate it. This is where the haskap bushes grow. I don't really care for them all that much. I cut them out and I haven't put any compost or mulch in there yet, but I will once I get those dug up. But when I get it dug up is a different question altogether. These are my raspberries. They weren't doing very well. Pretty sure something was in here eating them, because that's what that looks like. But I don't know what. I never saw anything. And they probably suffered because of the drought as well. Well, I'm 100% sure they suffered because of the drought. So they also got a whole bunch of mulch put on them, and I've been trying to keep at the watering, and they look like they're jumping back a little bit. Like that guy looks like he's doing okay, and so does that one. So hopefully they'll recover a little bit. Garden beds. Let's start off in the far back corner. Nothing was in here for a long time. These are delicata squash, which is a kind of squash that Aletha really likes. They went in late, so I don't think much is going to come of that. I kept it watered basically just so that the soil would stay alive with its bacteria and stuff. Bruce put string beans in there. They didn't do very well in this bed, obviously, so let's just walk on by that. Had some peas. Again, not very much water going on them, was not great for them. Runner beans, all the way up to the sky. They did okay. He did a lot of hand watering beside these weeper hoses. I think this might be the last year for these weeper hoses. They're pretty small gauge, and yeah, they just weep. So you'd have to put quite a bit of line in there to actually get the soil wet. This is another weeper hose. And back here where the delicata squash are, I'll show you the difference. This is a soaker hose that I had bought, and I cut down and cut it to size and tied the end off. And it actually puts down quite a bit of water. I don't have this tap open all the way so that it doesn't flood the thing, but yeah, there was quite a bit of water that it was putting in here. So I think that the soaker hoses are a much better choice than the weeper hose. This corner, the asparagus, again, I put down some compost and some mulch, and I've been watering it pretty heavily. Hopefully in the spring they will send up new shoots. I was checking my my garden journal, and it was the end of April that I was taking pictures of them last year. So asparagus are ferns, and that's what they look like. They probably are like that by early to mid-June, because they start producing at the end of April and into May, and you start cutting them, and then when they start, what was it? When they're smaller than the diameter of your finger, then you start leaving them. So hopefully I'll get a good harvest in the spring. This was a bed that the garlic was in. When I pulled it out, because everything was so dry, I'll 100% admit that I was discouraged. I didn't have any plants ready to go in it, so I just left it. Tried to keep it watered, but again, with those stupid little weeper hoses, not much happened. This is the only thing I think that was successful for me this year, and it was a late start. So these are beets. Can't remember when I put them in. It was probably like mid-August. And not a weeper hose, but a soaker hose. So they've been doing okay. Hopefully we won't get hard freezes until maybe a month away, and then we can actually harvest some of these. Those are Bruce's peppers. These things are gorgeous. These are the banana peppers. So I've started harvesting them and pickling them, just like a refrigerator pickle. I'm not water bath canning them or anything. I'm not really that big on them, but I think Aletha and Brandon and Colin and Erica will enjoy them when they're over. These ones are a jalapeno. Looks like there's a red jalapeno in there. And in the back corner, I think that's cayenne, if I remember correctly. This is a bed of beans that actually did really well, and they're still producing. Quite happy with those guys. That's Bruce's work. He put them in and kept them watered. I had a bunch of leftover cucumber plants, so I stuck them in here. I've actually been getting a lot of cucumbers between this and the one that's way over in the side of the greenhouse up there. Again, a soaker hose, not a weeper hose. I'm so done with weeper hose. This is another one of Bruce's things. He likes to go to the local tiny greenhouse and buy stuff when it's on final clear-out sale. Had no idea what kind of squash this is, but it looks like it's probably like a buttercup acorn squash, something like that. That's about it for down here, with the one exception. This wisteria, I prune it twice a year, once in the middle of winter and once in July. And in August it bloomed, which was really odd because the one that I used to see years and years ago in the valley would bloom in June. So here it is blooming now. Not now, but like last month. Which is nice because I thought that it wasn't going to bloom at all for me. All right, let's go see what's in the other side of the garden. Oh, my poor little rhubarb patch. I had the same thing happen to my rhubarb as happened to yours. There is supposed to be 4 plants in here. Hopefully they'll come back in the spring because those guys just died out. And I don't think it had to do with the drought because these guys got watered quite a bit. This is where my zucchini plants are. Well, on this side it's the green plants. I cut out all the old dying vegetation, and they're still doing okay. I have two little baby zucchini coming there, and these guys might even survive as well. This tiny little thing right there. There's one there, but I don't know if that's going to do very much. Those last two I pointed out, the flowers haven't opened yet, so if they don't pollinate, they won't grow. This is the yellow zucchini plant. Probably could have taken more leaves off it because they're not doing very well. I think that's the last zucchini for this plant. There are, see if I can get the camera in there, a couple of tiny little ones that possibly could develop, but that would mean they'd have to grow. Flowers would have to open. They would have to pollinate, and there'd have to be enough time for them to grow. So that's questionable. A couple little spinach plants didn't do very much all year. I think they're appreciating the cooler temperature and the more sun since the big plants have been cut back. Swiss chard seems to have slowed down. This is arugula. It's like a spicy lettuce green. We love that stuff. What's going on over here? So this is the onion bed. I learned a lot about growing leeks this year. I think it's going to be a two crop a year for me now, because I tried to get them to grow through the hot part and the dry part of the summer, and they bolted. So I lost everything. So next year, I think when I start them early and I put them out, I'm going to harvest them as soon as they look like they could be anywhere near harvesting, and then replant. Because I couldn't keep them from bolting. They're all hard and woody and frustrating. So yeah, this is kind of like the garden year of follies. In some ways though, but in other ways not. This is a delicata squash. They are a small squash, so I don't know if it'll get much bigger than that. Aletha likes them, so I don't know much about them. She said they get nice and yellow, and she says when she sees them harvested, there's usually quite a bit of difference between the stripes and the yellow. So this guy might not be too far away from harvesting. But I think that is the only one in there. This cucumber plant has actually done quite a bit. It's an English cucumber plant. I will admit that I don't really like field cucumbers. I don't find their taste as good as English cucumbers. And I don't like how thick their skins are. I do have another one in there. I've been running at having 3 cucumbers at a time. Need to get eating on some cucumbers. This is where a lot of the leeks were. So I have left some seed heads up because I ran out of leek seeds. So I am hoping that I will get some seeds once these guys dry out a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to turn all this once the squashes come out. That was also leeks, I guess. I said that was leeks over there, but I put them on both sides. The white Russian kale did well. I actually had a soaker hose running through this. I just took it out yesterday. So it stayed pretty well watered while we were here. That's my little garden shed. And a compost bin in front of it. The other compost bin is over there. We moved the compost when we put the garden shed in, and we were going to put it back here. Bruce suggested this would be a good area, and I agreed. But every time I went to turn the compost, it was full of gravel. And I find that very frustrating. So he went to level off the area for me, and I was asking him if he could pull the gravel back and get the gravel off. And he told me that all this area was infilled with gravel to increase the size of the driveway part that we were putting like sheds and tractors and stuff on. So it was not going to be able to be cleared of gravel. So I had already taken up all my compost, that garbage can right there is full of almost finished compost that I sifted out of the big barrel, and I'm letting it sit in there while the worms and the other bugs do their business with it. Down where the canoe is and the floats for the diving float, that's where the compost is going to be now. I think that'll be a good spot. There is a water source, I think right around there, so I'll be able to keep it wet even if it's dry. And under the big trees it will be happy. All right, now let's go take a look and see what's going on in the greenhouse. This was again successes and failures. Earlier in the year I put in, I think my loofah plant was the first thing. My oregano in a pot is my doorstop. This is what the loofah plant is doing now. I really wanted to get some loofah, but by the time it decided to start producing, it's like way too late now, and I don't think those guys will develop. Did get a few. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to turn off my fan here. There we go. I know that the fan interferes with the audio because of the noise of the wind. Okay, yeah, I did have good success with spaghetti squash. I've got that one and that guy's big. That guy's coming up to 12 inches in height. So he's a big sucker. There's also one more that I brought in the house. Okay, I had a little interruption because Bruce needed a hand with something. What was I talking about? I guess I talked about the squashes, the loofah and the spaghetti squash. What else do I have going on in here? I planted some bell peppers, King of the North, and they are doing quite well. The plant got kind of crazy tall too. So this is just shy of 6 feet tall. I wasn't expecting that, so I only put them on short supports and not until later because I'm not used to my pepper plants being more than 2 or 3 feet tall. I had a bunch of eggplant in here, but these Chinese long style are the only ones that did anything, so I took all the other plants out. Guess this one and this one could go too, because those two are not producing anything. Yeah, maybe I'll do that after. I'll get rid of those 2 plants. And this one, because it's not doing anything. What kind of tomatoes did I plant? I think I planted Roma and San Marzano. Maybe I'll stick with just the Roma from now on, because they are determinant. So I'm talking about the plum tomatoes for sauce right now. They are determinant, and so they only get to a certain height. Whereas the ones in the back there, the San Marzano, I had to cut so much stuff out of the plants so often. And even then, they're still like, I don't know, is that 12 feet tall, I think? It's crazy, crazy. And they're so thick and dense, right? I'm lucky I didn't get any blight in here. So I'm glad I didn't. And that's why I kept using the fan, because airflow is so important. I had a soaker hose in here, and I still do. I had set it on rain delay for several days, think it's finished now. Because, you know, it wasn't losing any moisture, or very little moisture from in here. There's my little ginger forest back in the corner. I'm kind of excited about that. I did, I can't remember what I was cooking here, but I did pull up one little stump, one little chunk one day to use for something, and it was really nice to have it fresh. One of my tomato plants back in there is one called Lemon Boy. It's a hybrid, but I keep growing it because I still have seeds in the package, first of all. And it makes a really nice eating tomato. It's a sweet yellow tomato. It's really good. And like usual, I've been growing these ones called Midnight Snack. They start out green and black, and then they'll go to red and black. They're a pretty terrific tomato. I've also got seeds from one that Aletha and Brandon were growing. That's kind of like it's like a cherry tomato, but it's oblong and yellow. It was really tasty. They don't know if it was a hybrid or if it was an open pollinated one. So I don't know if keeping the seeds will come true, but I'm going to give it a try next year. There's my little basil plants. They did really well. I cut off a whole bunch earlier when I was doing tomato canning, but they're still popping along. Hiding underneath this mess of tomatoes is oh, there's one right there. Rosemary plants squashed in there. Thankfully at home I've got a larger one that I can take out and overwinter. Yummy tomatoes. I don't know if there's much else to say about here. The greenhouse is always kind of a crazy ride. It's not a whole lot warmer at night than it is outside. Like the past couple nights, been getting down to, I don't know, 4 or 6 or something like that. What does this say? The low temperature was 8 last night. High temperature has been 28. It hasn't been very warm during the day. It's been less than 20 during the day. I did put in an exhaust fan. Oh, crap. I did put in an exhaust fan that the loofah plant seems to love. I've already twice gone and cut the vines out that were trying to grow through the fan, and it looks like I need to again. It's on a temperature control, so when it reaches maybe mid-20s it comes on, but it's not terrific for venting the whole greenhouse. It helps, yes, but it doesn't, like, if it's almost 40 in here, it doesn't cool it down to 28. It will cool it down to maybe mid-30s. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off and plug my fan back in and start the video again outside. I don't really have a whole lot more to say. Maybe I'll just walk down to the lake and we'll take a look at how low the lake is this year. It's made going out in the pontoon boat a little bit tricky. Bruce took a couple of the neighbors out the other day, older guys on the lake who hadn't done a full view of the lake for a few years. When Aletha and Brandon were down on the weekend, Brandon had no interest in trying to navigate the shoals. So it's certainly a beautiful morning on the lake. Whoa. I'm just hopping onto the pontoon boat here. So, although we've seen the lake low quite a few times, this is pretty much coming to be the lowest that we've ever seen it. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful morning. I almost feel like going for a swim. Our neighbor, just around the corner there's a rock that sticks up out of the water, and he was painting it bright yellow and gluing a little fish statue on top of it. So you can tell that the water level now is below the most fresh level of yellow paint. But there is still more paint that's underwater, so it's not the lowest that it has been, but it is pretty low. All right, I guess that's about all I have to say for today. Talk to you soon.